another episode of 5 Minutes With. I'm Steve Strum, sitting here with Jeremy Tintle from Elite Home Services USA. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
You know, we had a great discussion before we started filming today about some of your history and what you've done in the contracting world, and now how you have become part of an application world that somebody can look on their phone. So for the audience of watching this going, okay, what were they just talking about? So you come from an industry in contracting.
Correct.
Where people are doing home remodels, roofing, windows, doors, all the things. And one of the big challenges is a homeowner going, you know, if I'm going to have somebody come and do a home remod, are they actually, the person I'm hiring actually qualified to do the work that I'm hiring them to do? And you hear these nightmares of like somebody comes in and does something. Next thing you know, you got a bathtub in your living room.
Absolutely.
Or it just falls through the ceiling.
Absolutely.
To be dramatic.
Yeah.
And that you've had experience in this world, you have worked on development of an app
Correct.
to help the consumer make a more well-advised decision on who they choose.
Correct.
Something like that.
No,
so
very close.
tell us a little bit about that, because I think I probably got most of that, but
you did.
you're like, yeah, you missed this most important part over here.
No, you bring up several good points, whether it's the bathtub through the living room, nails in the driveway, failing inspections, the list could go on for any home improvement. So my background is in the roofing business, general contracting world for windows, doors, other areas of work, and we were constantly asked who else could do these jobs. And the other thing that we noticed in my space was whether there was a lot of competition, there's a lot of very few qualified people to do the actual work. So whether you're researching through Google or you're looking through certain lists or you're looking through certain things online to find out who the most qualified person is, my experience has been it's the one that pops up the first is the one that pays the most. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily the best. So people are looking, so they're constantly asking for referrals. We work with a tremendous amount of property managers. We work with a tremendous amount of realtors currently. And so we've always done very good work for them. And so when I put myself in the homeowner's position, I've heard these horror stories repeatedly. And so we developed the app where the homeowner could simply go to iOS, they could go to the Google Play Store, EliteHomeServicesUSA.com is our landing page. It explains who we are. They're all local vetted vendors. They're all licensed, they're insured. You could literally scan your phone, upload the picture. We send that out to one of our trusted vetted vendors. Many of them are local names you very well may know. But that being said, we have a little bit of negotiating power with them as well for better pricing because we're sending them the business. And we're also tracking the business. The beautiful thing about the app in particular as well is the progress. Not only for, there's responsibility on the contractor's part because he gets the alert. We've sent him this job to bid, if you will, or to send it out. In most cases, we know the homeowners, and then they're required to put in through the app the progress of the job so that we also are that third party, your homeowner advocate, if you will, to make sure that job goes smooth. So if there is an issue, they can reach out to us and we'll resolve it or at least help them along the way as well. So it's fully transparent.
So walk us through that. So let's use a job that would be something that's kind of like meat and potatoes. Is that like windows and doors?
Windows and doors would be great.
Okay, let's use that as an example. So I got my house, and I'm like, you know, the windows are leaking, air conditioning, whatever. I see the commercial on TV that I got to get this certain window system at, you know, and I'll talk to my wife, and you know, she's like, you know, we probably needed this done 2 years ago. I told you needed this done 2 years ago. You're not listening. So, but now it's to the point where it's like, okay, I got to get windows and doors.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Like I download the app.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got the app. We got to get the app.
You download the app first.
Okay, and then what?
Well, you could do a couple of things. The app has the ability also for you to take pictures directly from the app.
Oh, very cool.
You could actually hold your phone up and take a picture of every single opening that you have. First story, second story. I could get very close with even the size of the measurements itself. And then at that case, we then send that to one of the better installers that doesn't sub out their labor, that we don't hear horror stories about. And we've done many jobs of these ourselves through Six Senses Builders, which I'm a partner with in South Florida. And so Elite Home Services, you download the app, you could upload the pictures. We then send out a vetted vendor to help you estimate that job and explain to you what your options would be for windows and doors. Any questions, or if in fact you'd like a second estimate, you could put multiple scopes of work through the app. That vendor then is going to reply back to us that they had priced that job. we could then follow up with the homeowner as Elite Home Services USA, ask them about their experience, whether they signed with the contractor, whether they'd like to get another estimate. They just click the app, and we're more than happy to send somebody else if that's the case.
So for a guy that doesn't do windows and doors every day, I mean, I look at a window and I'm like, all right, it's a window, right? There's the cheap windows, there's the middle price windows, and there's the expensive windows.
Correct.
There's a reason that they're, and I'm educated enough to know there's a reason that this one's more expensive than this one. But I have no idea what I want.
Well, right. The main reason is if you're a mile from open water and you need an impact product.
Got it. And that's the one that will withstand hurricane winds and stuff like that.
That is correct. That's a high velocity hurricane zone product.
So, but I don't know these things as a consumer. I'm just like, all right, I got to get windows, right? So literally I can go around my house, take pictures of all the things that I need done, upload it to the app.
Yeah.
You guys take it from there. You get the person that's going to provide the product, give me the education on why I need, whether it's the cheap guy, the middle guy, the expensive guy.
Yes, sir.
And a pathway by vetted installers, because I'm sitting there going, okay, I like my window to be in the window sill. That's nice, and not just like I'm sitting around one day and having coffee with my wife, and all of a sudden the window falls out of the side of the house. That's bad, right? We're going to call that bad. Or the door, maybe not falling off the side of the house, but the door doesn't close right because it wasn't mounted. And I know that there's a certain thing that you have to do to make sure the door closes the right way all the time. And over time, that actually causes structural integrity issues with the actual doorway, which then impacts the floor, which then, you sit there and you go, it's a door. Like, how complicated can a door be? You open it, you close it, it's got a little handle. But like all of the things that go around a door, from the quality of the door, the mounting of the door, the rating, I would imagine, of the door, and all these things are things that I don't necessarily know as a consumer, but I know they're important.
Well, there's really two things there. One is the product itself, being educated on any home improvement product, and whatever the case may be. It could be electrical, it could be plumbing, it could be multiple other services that we also have trusted vendors with. But in regards to even those products, but in windows and doors in particular, you have your product and then you have your installation. And a quality install from a licensed general contractor is who's permitted to be able to do that scope of work.
Gotcha.
That is very, very important so that you don't have those issues in the future that you just mentioned.
So, and it's not just windows and doors. You guys do everything.
We do
and
everything.
If it's in the house, you can do it.
If it's in the house,
or on top of the house.
We do. We have vetted vendors, relationships with very well-known solar companies, with plumbers, with electricians. We send out literally not that guy that's going to sit in your home forever either, and just wear you out.
Right.
We send people that are qualified, have been doing this for a long time, that are competitively priced, and that we have a good relationship with, and we know they're accountable to the service they provide.
Got it. And then the homeowner through the app can track progress on stuff. Yeah. So now there's no, there was a movie that you and I probably remember. Some folks that might be generation gap called The Money Pit. Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They go to fix the house, and how long is it? 2 weeks. Every answer to every question, like the side of the house falls over. 2 weeks, right? So you can really dial in on what that expectation is.
100%. The expectations are completely transparent through the app. We know when material is ordered. We get updated on everything from our vendors. It makes the experience much smoother. Not only because we've worked with these other vendors in the past, but simply because they know it came from Elite Home Services USA.
Excellent. Well,
and so that means a lot to them because we're the ones sending we're the relationship between them and the homeowner.
And you've done all the work in between that to make sure that there's a certain level of expectation that gives comfort to a homeowner.
Absolutely.
Because we're not talking windows and doors. You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars here. A roof, right? 20, 30.
Oh,
at
tile
least.
or metal could be more.
Right, and of course, small detail. You kind of want the roof system to work.
Right.
We kind of want that to happen.
And you're not on Google and you're not on certain other lists just randomly looking. In many cases, these reviews have been paid for. Let's be honest, right? These are vetted local vendors with very good reputations that we also, in many cases, have better pricing because we're able to send it to them due to that relationship. So there's, in many cases, less overhead when it comes to Elite Home Services, well as the transparency.
I appreciate you taking time to kind of walk through that. We're living in the future, man.
Yes,
right? We are definitely, far gone are the days of looking up on the phone book and the name of the company was A1 and that's who got all the business.
That's exactly right.
And now you have a way for a consumer to educate themselves, also have a way to describe what it is they're trying to do, even though it's very difficult for a person that's not knowledgeable to describe, I need a window. Well, what kind of window?
Yeah.
the ones made out of glass,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot more that goes into that these days.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming and talking about your app, man. And it's really been cool to kind of see how the evolution of this kind of stuff is happening as we go into the future.
I agree. Thank you so much for having me.
And as great as you are, which is, you know, wonderful that we spent time together, we can't do it without these guys.
Yeah.
So
No,
guys, you know, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to put Jeremy's stuff on Elite Home Services USA on our website, thedailynewsnetwork.com. If you like this episode, share the episode, and remember to always live with gratitude.